This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Welcome to another Top Shop Podcast. We have John Dixon again as a guest on Top Shop Podcast. He's with Standard Motor Products, and he's now their training manager. So John's been in the industry for over 30 years. John, why don't you give us a little background on how you got involved in this industry, because you've been involved with it for 3 decades now, and you've served a lot of different functions with different companies. And welcome to Standard Motor Products. So we had Ryan Koeman as a guest on Top Shop Podcast. It was a great podcast, and we're looking forward to another one with you also. So give me a little background about you, John.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Good to talk to you again. My trip through the industry, it's been fun. You know, I started out as a young man. I always wanted to be a dealer technician, so I started out in that part of the world. My first job was as a tech was at a Hyundai Isuzu Suzuki dealer.
Right.
So if you can think about those cars, a little over 30 years ago, quite different than how all three of those companies ended up. 2 of them don't even bring light vehicles to the States anymore, so that's kind of entertaining. But it went from there to a Jaguar dealership, and then to a European and high performance specialty shop. And then I started my training career in this industry at a tech school. So I actually worked at UTI for quite a while, training young people how to be technicians. And then my career evolved a little bit, and it's time to make some changes. And so now, for the last 10 plus years, I've been actually training technicians, and I enjoy that part of the job. So I wear a lot of hats in my current role, which I enjoy. I need that out of a role to stay engaged. So, there's still opportunities at shows or close to me in Chicago to go out and train techs, which I absolutely love. I think sometimes I laugh that I do it for selfish reasons. I like to be in a classroom with a room full of technicians, because I learn from them. I mean, these are the people that fix the cars every day. They see the cars a lot more often than I do. They understand the nuances faster because they see it. And that, they're seeing the things break before we hear about it, outside outside of the shops. So anytime I'm in a room full of technicians, I use it as an opportunity to soak up information, whether I'm just attending class like I do occasionally, or like I said, when I get technicians into our classes. So
It's awesome. And that's one of the things, John, I like interviewing you, is you have hands-on experience. You've been in the shop. You are an ASE Master Tech, is that correct?
that's correct. Yes.
Yep, an ASE Master Tech, right? So, it's really good when I have guests on my podcast who just didn't go to college and get a job in the automotive aftermarket industry. You're on the shop floor. You're a Master Tech, and that's why they made you a training manager at Standard Motor Products. Now tell me about Standard Motor Products, because that's a big company. That's a stock exchange traded corporation. So so tell me a little bit about Standard.
Yeah, Standard's a great place, well respected in the industry. It's one of the many things that drew me to the position. But it's one of the bigger players in the aftermarket. Make a lot of parts in the AC category.
Mhm.
Of course, a lot of people still say, "Where are you working at, Standard Ignition?" I think that was probably one of the first Standard products that I ever came in contact with was Ignition products, and of course, we still make a lot of those in various places, in the world. And yeah, it's just another great aftermarket supplier. Well respected. Great parts retailers carry the stuff, and that's one of the ways that we get the training out as well.
Yep. So Standard Motor Products, I'm reading right off the website, is the leading independent manufacturer and distributor of premium replacement parts in the automotive aftermarket, and a custom engineered solutions provider to vehicle and equipment manufacturers in diverse aftermarkets and end markets. So yeah, it's a really, really big company. So I'm glad you found a new seat at a new home. So tell me about your position at Standard Motor Products. You train the trainers, is that correct?
Well, that's part of the role. I mean, we have, there's a few of us, I would say that train the trainers, but I train with the trainers. One of my first functions, when I came on at Standard, I've only been here since November. But right away, there was a train the trainer event where we had three new classes that we're offering now to the technicians that attend our classes. And the content team, we have a fantastic content team here at Standard that's hard at work every day on, developing new classes. And, they've got a whole development process that they work through for this. There's an advisory council made up of industry professionals. That's one of the things that I'll be getting involved with. But, for the time being, Ryan's been running that, and he's got, different, as you know, Ryan's pretty well connected and, networked in the industry. So he's got people that he trusts, that he has sit on this panel, and they come up with, what's needed, what's next, where's our content today, are these subjects still relevant, do they need to be tuned up, what subjects are we not covering today, that are new to the industry, that are going to help technicians be more successful. So then, those classes go into development, and our content team, who's made up of, uh, gentlemen with, different types of experience in the industry, but definitely longtime industry professionals. And they bring the content, they put the content together, and then it's vetted, it's piloted, and then the trainers, and myself, and Ryan as well, because Ryan and I will still both train occasionally. We train on it, all together in mass. So we've got another one of those events coming up at the end of May, which I'm excited about because I won't be the new guy anymore.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
it was great going to my first training the trainer with these guys, because the trainers on this team are guys that I've worked around, in the same lane, right, for a long time. Just we didn't wear the same shirt. Now we do.
Oh, wow.
So
That's pretty cool.
I didn't know many of these guys well. I knew most of them just by reputation. Training in the same areas as them. You get to know the names of the guys that the technicians like, because technicians are very loyal when it comes to their training and different things like that. So got to train alongside these guys and try to and kind of meet the personality of the guys on the team that I lead and coach. So now when I get to go again with these gents down to our training center in Irving, Texas, I'll have been out there in the field with them. I've seen a few of them now at shows. I've gotten to sit in their class. I've gotten to go to, walk around shows with them and meet the people they know, introduce them to the people I know. So, it's been good. But now I've got a little more tenure with these guys. A little more rapport, I guess I should say.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess it's pretty cool. Like you said, you've known of a lot of these guys around in the industry because you're in the same ocean, so to speak, and now y'all are wearing the same shirt. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Take you know what? Uh, I think a lot of shop owners know, but go ahead and talk about the importance of accreditation. I mean, it's this is why I love AMRA and MAP, the Motorist Assurance Program, so much because it's providing a standard for all auto repair shops.
Right.
Just wish more auto repair shop owners knew about it because it's usually it's the corporations really that know more about it than the auto repair shop owner. But go ahead and ask. I'd like to know. One of the things that we make sure that we do for all of our customers is we get trust badges all over their website.
Yeah.
So many digital marketing agencies, they don't take the client's good reviews and put them in the header image. So that the second the website loads, it provides a subconscious trust signal. Well, besides that, like Google and Carfax and positive reviews on those platforms, right under that, we normally put. I encourage them to join AMRA, Automotive Maintenance Repair Association, because then I can put it's $200 a year for a shop owner to join. It's ridiculous, and so I can put those two logos, MAP and AMRA, there on their website. I
Right.
encourage join the Automotive Management Network. It's got, thousands of SOPs that they can just download and customize. ASE, any kind of badge that we can put there. The consumer, a lot of times, don't even know what these badges are, but they just see these badges and subconsciously sends a signal that this shop is really well connected with all this stuff that they don't know. And it's important for us to put that ASE accreditation on all of our clients' auto repair shop owners' websites. So just tell us a little bit about why it's really important to have that accreditation of a training program.
So, Paul, you mentioned accreditation. So, we are an ASE accredited training partner, um, which means that we've applied. We're actually going through the reaccreditation process as we speak. It means that we've applied to be recognized by ASE as somebody that provides training that is congruent with their values, and the information provided is going to help techs on their journey to be ASE certified. So, really important. You sit in one of our classes, everyone starts out with not only the mission of Standard Motor Products Pro Training, but also, the statement that we are an accredited partner. So, as much as you encourage people to have their cars serviced at places that believe in the MAP standards, people should train with programs that have been through the accreditation process, that are our accredited training partners.
Right. So, what is the Standard Motor Products content development process? Because that's how you develop the content. I'm sure is very important to what you guys decide you're going to be training these technicians on.
Correct. Yeah. No, I think it goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier. It starts out, there's a standard has a advisory council, a training advisory council that's made up of, trusted industry professionals. Ryan Koyman has run that group for a long time. That's a process that as we do it again in the coming years, that I'll be involved with, and it's really just talking to, the people from industry that work with and manage the technicians. Some of them are technicians, shop owners, leaders in service organizations. So people that see every day the types of training, that the technicians that are out there need. I mean, we train on technology and systems. A lot of times there's a misconception when a parts manufacturer has training. Are they selling parts in there? And I would say that there's several quality programs out there that do not do that. And Standard has long been one of those, where you go to class, and it might be training that's adjacent to products that we make naturally, but we're not in there selling ignition coils or air compressors or turbos or anything like that. We look at what are the new systems, how are they managed, what's the new technology, what are the new tools that technicians need to know how to use to work on these systems, diagnose these systems, do the different services, whether it be just a new scan tool routine, or it's a reprogramming, or we've got I can just think of the amount of different tools that came out when GDI came into our industry not too very long ago. So just as different things, as different systems are added to our industry, you think about like ADAS, um, right, and all of the new components there, all of the things that need to be calibrated. Um, that's stuff that you need to get the word out on. For a while, ADAS classes, and they still continue to be very popular with technicians, because they're wondering, first of all, what does it do? What do I need to know? And then also, what are the tools and equipment? Because a lot of times when there's a new technology added to the industry, there are tools, and in the case of ADAS, there's a misconception that everything that to do with ADAS requires just exorbitant amount in dollars of tools. And while in some cases that can be true, there are also some calibrations that can be, we could trigger the vehicle to do dynamically, and there's some calibrations and setups that could be done, relatively easily. But the classes in those subjects are very important because um, the techs just need to know. So that those are all of those things are part of the process. So we look at what's needed, and then it gets developed. It gets vetted by our trainers, by the people on the advisory council. It gets piloted, and then finally, we have the train the trainer events that I mentioned earlier.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and when you train the trainers, how do you train the trainers and vet those materials that you gotta? Do you do it by survey, or how do you decide what? Because there's so much, you know.
Right. There is a survey that's part of the development process, that they send out, and they ask for the different topics, and different ideas and things like that. But as far as the actual train the trainer, the guys on the team will get the material for a period of time beforehand. And you know anytime you put a bunch of technical experts looking at a piece, they're going to have their opinion. Well, I would say this, or I would do it that way. And so the content developers that we have on the team they're fantastic. They've been in the industry for a long time, and they know how to do content design. And designing content and delivering content, of course, are two different skill sets. But both of these, everybody on our content team also delivers. Okay, and these guys are also fantastic trainers. So they think not only with the technician mind, because they've been in the field, but they also think ahead to how it's going to be delivered. So that and that tends to help. We don't, sometimes you get training that that's put together by people that don't deliver it, and it looks differently, right? It feels differently, and it needs to be. Sometimes you have to work a little harder as a trainer. So we put these train the trainer events together, and it's an aggressive schedule. We spend we teach through the class, and then we do activities in the shop at our training center around that, just to make sure that we're all talking about the same thing. We know how to use the tools. When a technician asks what this is going to look like on a tool, or how do you test that? We've got that fresh in our mind. So it was really great being in Dallas in December with the team, and we went through 3 new classes together during the week, and did the shop activities all together, divided up in groups, which was a great, as a new manager with these guys. It was a great opportunity for me to just get out there and work side by side with these guys in the shop. And it helped develop some rapport. I think it helped me understand what the team knows, help the team understand what I know a little bit. So I'm looking forward to doing it again at the end of May. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. You had mentioned ADOS, so that was one of the questions. So someone who has been on both sides of the coin. You're an ASE Master Tech. You were on the floor. You've done this work yourself. Obviously, you're an ASE Master Tech, and then you've been in the corporate world too. So, in the last decade, because you've been in it for 3 decades, what are the really big changes that you're seeing that the auto repair shop owner really has got to pay attention to if they're going to keep up with the times, and keep up with the current trainings? And
Yeah, as far as new technologies in the last several years, I mean, you mentioned ADOS, that's for sure.
sure, that's a big one. Yeah,
You know,
EVs, yeah.
EVs, hybrid. I think just showing shops and technicians that you know there's really there's really so much that we could do with an EV, from a maintenance standpoint, from a regular service standpoint. They still have tires. They still do have fluids, even though some people see, there's some misconceptions out there that, well, it's electric, like what fluids
Right.
are. while there's still, in some cases up to 3 different coolants, they have air conditioning systems,
Yep.
which are, interesting and a little bit different. There's some safety things that you need to realize, of course, anytime you're, servicing an EV, but there's some safety things for the vehicle when you're servicing the AC because there's different. We have a different refrigerant now. There's a different lubricant if it's an EV. There's a lot of different things that happen, but the AC systems mostly on these EVs, they've gone to a heat pump system, which is a little bit different for some auto technicians.
Sure.
If you talk to an HVAC guy and you start talking about heat pumps, they're like, "Oh, okay." They're with you, you know. And it's not the hardest thing in the world to learn, for sure. But there's all sorts of things. I think the other thing that really uh causes techs to come to training is just really any new engine management thing. I mean, GDI is not a new thing anymore, but sometimes the way it's executed is a little bit different.
Sure.
Uh, Same thing with variable valve timing, not new at all. But there are new ways. There's new ways that's being handled. Um, there's a lot of new engine systems, a lot of new, you know, we also talk. I'm just thinking through some of our classes. Of course, we
Sure.
know ignition, which has changed over the years. In the time that since I've been a technician, I started out when it came to ignition systems. Yeah, we would actually tune up cars, right? We had a carburetor to adjust, we had a distributor to time, um, and then distributors went away, and we had big old coil packs, and then big old coil packs went away, and now we have individual coils per cylinder. So, and that's nothing new, but the actual coil itself has evolved over time. To include the module in the top of the thing and different things like that. So, just like every little piece has changed, and I think, and that's something that our developers are really conscious of, when they look at it. It's like, you know, we wanna train on both the cars that people are working on, which can even change regionally, right?
Right.
But also, the new technology, the stuff that's um, coming off the line now, maybe being serviced at the new car dealer under warranty right now, so that in a couple years, when that stuff is out of warranty, because people, I'm sure you've noticed, people are driving their cars much much longer these days. I mean, um, if you just look over the last few years, just look at the data that you can get, many places. But um, the car park is aging faster over the last few years. What is it at 13 plus years now, Paul?
Yeah. I mean,
So
I've got a 2010, 2015 Macan turbo. So, I mean, it's 10 years old this year. And it's just
mhm,
got 70,000 miles on it. I just don't drive them that much. And,
yeah,
and I got a 2016 Turbo S Cayenne. And I bought it with 35,000. I got 50 on it. I just turned 50. So
yeah,
there's no reason it's a cream puff car. So there's just no, I wouldn't mind getting a newer one, but then when I look at the expense, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep this car.
yeah.
So
I had a new car, and I had it for 2 years, and almost 2 years, and it had 11,000 miles on it when I traded it in. I traded
wow.
it in to get my wife a new car. I as you know, you see me all over the place, so I travel a lot for work.
Right.
My personal vehicles don't get driven very much, so yeah, my daily out there. I mean, I have a company vehicle now, but um, I've got a 14 F-150. So, if you would
Yeah,
have
there
told
you
me
go. Yeah.
if you would have told me, like a long time ago that I was going to drive a 10 plus year old Ford truck and it was going to be, still still together,
Right.
uh, I'd have laughed. But that's kind of, you see these vehicles making multiple rounds. So the guys at the dealer do their job and service them, for a while, and then they make the way out there to, most of the technicians that we see that are buying aftermarket parts from companies like Standard and others, and going to the training that's offered, through the various channels that we offer it. I mean, we have in-person technical training um, most evenings during the week. and technicians can find that, mostly by communicating with wherever they buy parts. And we try to work with the different parts retailers to do that. Um, and then we also have virtual training, and we have self-paced computer based training online as well, at SMP Pro Training.
Mhm.
uh, so and really it's just different techs like to consume training different ways. It seems that in-person training is still the favorite. Okay. um I mean, I think there's a social aspect to it, kind of a hive mind aspect to it. You've got other technicians there. You go there to see what are they, what are they seeing? What do they know about it? And the guys that go to class, and you watch them and they network, and these are people from different classes, and they see each other at these things, and they talk about the vehicles that they've seen. So I think in some cases, the training's really valuable, but then the networking at these events is really good as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I love going to. I just came back from Vision where I saw you, which was
Yeah.
great. That was the first time I've seen you at a trade show, I think, wasn't it? Or was it? Or no, I saw you I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, I saw you at Vision last year, I believe.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. Because I go to Vision
Yeah.
every year, right, yeah. So, what's how do people, the Standard Motor Products is huge. You guys specialize in the manufacturing of high quality, aftermarket parts, but you're with the training division. So how does the auto repair shop owner get in touch with your training division in SMP directly? Is there a / training address, or uh,
So they could get us at standardbrandtraining.com,
standardbrandtraining.com? Okay.
correct?
Yep.
Um,
Standardbrandtraining.com.
I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut to a side conversation, but can I plug like some of the retailers that offer our training?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
Another
So,
big wig call.
John,
Go
who
ahead.
are the retailers that handle your training? So we can either go to the website and find these, or you can just mention it here too.
Yeah, for sure. So, two big retailers that offer our training, O'Reilly Auto Parts
Okay.
and also AutoZone. If technicians, want to just contact them if they're buying parts from there. you, O'Reilly recently changed the name of their system. It used to be First Call. I forget what it's called now, but O'Reilly runs a program called Real World Training. We are one of the providers for that.
Okay.
Stan has been working with O'Reilly Real World Training for a long time now.
Wow. Okay. So it's as
Yeah,
easy as the auto repair shop owner just contacting their local O'Reilly uh,
yeah.
parts.
O'Reilly does a great job. It's one of their passions is bringing, educating technicians.
Sure.
And it's good for everybody, and that's really why I'm here. Why people like Ryan Koyman do this and things like that, because educated technicians, trained technicians stay in the industry. They stay in the industry. What do they do? Yeah, they achieve what they want. They make a living, and it's a good living, and it's enjoyable. Um, as you can see, I know some of the people, I mean, there's all different sorts of jobs in this industry. If you want to work as a tech for your entire career, a lot of people enjoy that. I sure did, but I just saw another road through this. So, um, but people that stay in the industry can be very successful. So you see people that, you see companies that support training. So, real world training's been around for a while. And as long as they've been around, Standard's been partnered with them. So I think that says a lot. And they run over 1,000 training events per year. They've got Zoom events 3 times a month. We participate in those as well. So it's just an evening. Uh, it's just not in person, right?
Sure.
So,
But they can
so
still get the information, and it's really convenient for a lot of people just to do the Zoom. Yeah.
right.
So, yeah. So, anyplace else, or
Like I said, AutoZone as
uh,
well, and then
um,
there's regional.
Yeah.
those are probably like the big box, national retailers, Napa Auto Parts. We do partner with them. They have their own training, but they engage us as well do some nights of training for them as well. But yeah, really, I would just say check in where you buy parts, and that's a good place to start. If not, go to the standardbrandtraining.com website, and there's you know, an email that you can send to find out about these things. So
John, you and I originally met at a AMRA, Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association, and MAP, Motorist Assurance Program Conference. There's a lot
yeah,
of auto repair shop owners, and I'm trying to work with Jeff to come up with a program where we can promote AMRA and MAP to more of the auto repair shop owners besides just the corporations. Tell us real quick about AMRA MAP and why it's so important for a shop owner. $199 a year to join, and they can become a motorist assurance program shop in their area. Can we go do a big plug here for Jeff and the Automotive Maintenance Repair Association?
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's a tremendous amount of resources, and forgive me, Paul, because I'm not going to remember them all. And if
Yeah,
Jeff watches
that's
this,
okay.
I gotta watch. I gotta be careful because I still live too close to Jeff. I'm still within driving distance, so he can come over here and
Oh,
bump me on the
you
head if
live
I'm
within driving distance of Jeff?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. I've known Jeff. Well, I've known Jeff since we both had hair. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's over 20 years for sure. I don't
Oh, I didn't
remember
know that.
exactly.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. We actually used to train together,
Okay.
Jeff and I.
Yep.
So, and there was a couple of job roles ago for both of us. So, but yes, Jeff, great guy, great friend, runs a great organization.
Sure.
And when the first time I was invited to go to a Amber Map thing, Jeff was definitely the only person in the room that I knew. And now, I just think about those events and I look forward to them because I have a lot of friends there. But also, the work that's done there is important. Um, you've been to those events and you see who comes to that. Who comes to that? You have people from new car manufacturers, parts manufacturers, people that provide services, people that make tires, oil. They've even had, attorneys as guests there that talk about different legislation or different cases that happen in our industry. And the reason why they do those technical conferences is they look for things that need to be updated in the standards. And what are the standards? Well, the standards are, you know it's hard to really, and their thing is trust comes standard, right? That's one of their taglines, right?
Mhm.
And and you talk about your trust badges, so it kind of plays really nice together. And how do you trust what somebody's telling you, that this part is no longer working as it should? Well, compared to what? Compared to the standard, right? So there's a standard that says your tire tread depth should be this, your brake pad thickness should be that. This is how you test to see if this fluid needs to be replaced. How do you know that this needs to be serviced? How can you recommend um, that repair to a customer? And so, when you join, you have access to what are the standards, but you also have access to, you know, other resources, that Jeff provides. I know he's been working very hard for the last couple of years to plug the standards into various DVI systems for shops, so that it's seamless, so that as they recommend work and look at the standards, it all goes together. So it's been a quest he's been on for a while. From what I've seen, he's made a huge amount of progress with it. And I know that his team, works on creating new standards and communicating new. They call it the UICS, uniform. I don't quote me on that one. I just screwed up the acronym, but they have, communication standards, uniform inspection and communication standards. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And they work on new ones all the time, and they communicate them to their members, their member organizations, their member shops, all the time. But their website has a wealth of knowledge on it, for the motorists on the one side, and then for the shop on the other side.
Yep. So shop owners, go to motorist.org or go to amra.org to sign up. It's only $199. And the big selling point for the auto repair shop owner is third party recommendation. So it's no longer the shop owner saying, "Hey, these pads are worn, you need to replace them." It's the motorist assurance program that provides the standards saying that this brake pad needs to be replaced, and that it's a safety concern at this point. So when it's a third party saying the information, it's the same thing as if I produced a movie and you ask me, "How's your movie?" I'm going to tell you it's great. You're going to take that with a grain of salt. If you ask your next door neighbor, "Hey, what's a great movie to go see?" and they recommend a movie, so it's the same thing. So that's the point I try to get across to the auto repair shop owner, because it really helps boost their sales if they have the motorist assurance program, the one that's recommending that this fluid needs replaced, this part needs replaced, these tires need to be replaced. So yep. So anyway, any other questions you think I should ask that might?
No, I think I'm good. I always enjoy the time to talk with you, Paul. I suppose I'll see you again, here in the spring, right? AMRA?
Not sure. The spring one is in Chicago. Is that correct?
It varies. They always do one in Chicago per year. So that's an easy one for me because I just drive to it. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think they are. Last year, the spring one was in Missouri, St. Louis.
that's right. It was. It
Right.
was.
So this year they're having it in Chicago. So my wife and I've got 5 trade shows I'm going to this year. So got a pretty busy, plus personal travel. So we got a pretty busy schedule this year. So I'm probably just going to be going to the one in Orlando
Gotcha.
because the premium factory outlet stores are just down the road. And so my wife said, if we're going to go to one of these 3, we're going to that one.
Gotcha.
So John, I really appreciate your time today. So standardtraining.com, or just get a hold of any AutoZone or O'Reilly to learn about Standard Motor Products training program. So John, thanks a lot for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Always great to talk to you. Talk soon.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.